Here we go. Jesse, sorry, I forgot all about them when I was thinking. And let's see, anyone else waiting to come in? No, looks like we're good. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you guys. Hey, Atticus. How's it going, Jesse?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. How's Gloria?
She's good.
Good, good. Okay, I think we're going to get rolling. If Shannon and Christopher and Reginald show up, they can just kind of jump right in, and we'll hopefully can just get them up to speed. So we're going to jump right in today and work on adding the verbal. It sounds like Seneca's already been doing some work on that, which is great. We like to add the verbal. We like to, let me start over here. So what we like to do is show, use the verbal and try to pair it with the old signal. And basically your old signal, I'm just going to call referring to your lure motion, which is turning into a hand signal. So what we like to do is we like to say the verbal, then pause, see if they do it. Pharaoh probably will, since Seneca's been already working on verbal with that. See if they do the behavior on the verbal alone. Chances are they won't, or chances are maybe they will, depending. Because usually with the verbal around now, what turns out is they've just kind of got a hit and miss sort of approach to it. Sometimes they'll do it in a verbal, sometimes they won't. But what we're aiming for is to get a solid verbal response. And the way we do that is we say the verbal, we pause a beat, give them a chance to do it. If they don't do it, then we give them the hand signal. So we sort of bail them out. Okay, so you're not ready yet to do it on the verbal, so we're going to give you the hand signal so that you can succeed. And then we're going to mark it, and then we're going to reward it. Think of it like, think of the verbal. So the verbal is like a newer cue in this process that I'm teaching right now. It's the newer cue. So we like to pause so that it's not said at the same time that you're giving the hand signal. Because what can happen is if you say it and give the hand signal motion at the same time, sometimes a lot of times they'll block out the newer cue, and the newer cue is the verbal. So it kind of hinders them learning the verbal. So if we pause and then give them the hand signal, and then they proceed to do the behavior, eventually the verbal and the hand signal will get paired together. And then when you say the verbal, they will know, okay, when it's paired with that, I associate it with the hand signal. Therefore, now I know I will do the same thing for the verbal that I do on the hand signal. And that is, if it's a sit, I'll go into the sit. So that sounded really muddy. A simple way to remember it is say it, show it, mark it, pay it. So it's just kind of a little thing that can help you sort of keep it in your head. So you say it first, you give them a chance to do it. If they don't do it, you give them the hand signal, then you mark it, and then you reward it. I'll do a little demo with Lolly, and then I'll let you guys go through with that. And I'm going to do it with sit down and stand. And she's at different points with each of those behaviors. She'll probably give me a verbal, which is great, and then I'll just mark and reward that. On the down, I already can see the future. She's not going to give me a verbal down. So hang on 1 second, Seneca. She's probably not going to give me a verbal down, so I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to give her the hand signal for down, and then mark it and reward it. With stand, she's not going to give me a verbal stand, so I'm going to go ahead and give her the hand signal and then mark it and pay it. Sure, go ahead, Seneca.
I was just going to say, so if you have him, like if I have Pharaoh sit and then go down, when I say sit, should I give him a treat and then say down, or just do sit down and then a treat?
Okay, if you, so say you're setting out to work on down, is that what, so down is your behavior. You don't have to give them a treat for the sit, but it's not going to be a big deal if, it's not a big deal if you don't, if you do. It kind of streamlines things a little bit, and they're already going to be getting the treat for the down. So it's really not necessary to treat him for the down, but I mean, sorry, for the sit. But if you do, no big deal. But don't worry about doing that. You can just get him right into the sit if you're heading for the down. And it's up to you if you want to participate in what we're doing right now. I kind of recommend that you do Seneca only in that if you go ahead and say that verbal that you've been working on and go ahead and give it a pause, give Pharaoh a chance to go ahead and give the behavioral on the verbal. And then if Pharaoh doesn't fairly quickly in a beat or two, go ahead and give him the hand signal. But you can probably give him a chance to do it verbally because you've been working on it. So we're just giving them a chance to do it. And if they don't, we're going to bail them out with the hand signal. So I'm going to just do a quick little demo with Lolly.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're up, girl. So we're going to start with the sit. Sit. So she did it right away on the verbal. So I didn't need to she's got a pretty solid verbal sit. So now I'm going to work on down, down. Good girl. So I just paused a beat. I gave her a chance to do it on the verbal, but she's not solid on the verbal. Here you go. Go get. Good girl. She's not solid on the verbal yet, so I bailed her out with the hand signal. So eventually, if I worked on it enough, she would start pairing those two together so that eventually she'll do the down on the verbal alone. It's just not something that we work on a lot. We have other things that we work on. Okay, so now I'm going to do the stand. Stand. Good girl. Nicely done. Here you go. Thank you. So basically just say the verbal, pause, give them a chance. And when they don't, if they don't do it, then go ahead and add that hand signal. Because what we want to do is we want to get the behavior so we can reward it. So that eventually that verbal and that hand signal will pair up in their minds. And then they will know, oh, the verbal cue means the same as the hand signal. So we'll go ahead and start with little Gloria. And if you're still using a lure, no worries. Go ahead and you can still keep that food in your hand if you want, if you find that you need to. But what I would do first is do the verbal, then try the hand signal without the food. And if they still don't do it, go ahead and put the food back in your hand and then use the lure. So that would be your progression.
Okay. Gloria, sit.
Yes. Excellent. Nice job.
Down.
So yes.
Down. Yes.
Great. That looked good with Gloria, Jesse.
Stand. Yes.
Perfect. So yeah, lovely. You gave that little pause in there between the verbal and then going forward with the hand signal or the lure. I wasn't sure if you had food in your hand or not
For the stand, I did have food.
Yeah, and stand is a newer behavior, so that's to be expected for sure. So that looks great. You've got it right. Just that pause is very important so that we give them a chance to do it. And eventually they're going to start pairing those two together, and they'll, if you're consistent, they will get that verbal. And this is a faster way to teach the verbal to get a solid response for it. So looking good, Jesse. Right. Let's look at little Rosie, see how little Rosie's doing.
Here we go. All right, come on, Rosie. Let's
Rosie, sit.
Okay. So yeah, I just abort, maybe walk away, take a little break. She just doesn't get a reward for that.
Come on, Rosie.
Get her up, try it again.
I think she's excited, so she's understands that the treats are out.
Yeah, that happens. Go ahead and like call her over to you and see if you can just quickly give her that sit signal after she starts coming to you.
Okay, Rosie, come on. Rosie, sit. Yes.
Get it in there. Yeah, beautiful.
Good girl.
I like how you just got in there with that treat immediately. Didn't wait for her. Tried to anticipate that she might slip into a down, and so you just quickly reward that sit. That looks great. Let's try with the down, doing the verbal, and then giving her a chance to go down on the verbal. And if she doesn't, we'll give her the hand signal. I figured she'd get that down pretty good.
Yeah, she has the down pretty good.
Yeah, she's good. So now the stand.
Rosie, stand. Yes.
And that looked great. The only thing that I would maybe do is pause a little more between the verbal and then giving her that hand motion. I think we pretty much know she wasn't going to be able to do the verbal yet, but that's okay. But by giving it a little bit of a pause there, we're just going to ensure that she's going to get that connection. But otherwise, that looked really good. Cool. Really good, Pete. Okay. Let's take a look at little Ollie here. Let's do some sit stands and stands with adding the verbal.
Okay. All right. Ollie. Just lay down. Hang on. Go play.
Decided to take a nap right in the middle of things. There it is. Nice. Very good.
Ollie. She's walking away from me. I don't know if we're in a
Be
fight.
exciting. Dance around a little.
Ollie, come here. Here, Ollie.
Are there treats? Oh, there he is.
Down.
Beautiful. Excellent. That's
She's
looking
still,
good.
She's still not too confident on stand.
No
Ollie.
worries. So that's why we'll help him out with we'll give the verbal and then we'll help him out with the hand signal after we pause.
Okay. Ollie, stand.
And go ahead and get it at his nose and pull out. There it is. Beautiful. It looks like you figured out a good technique. That's Kurt, right? I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It looks like you've got a good technique to get Ollie up and into that stand. I like that. Yeah. You have to experiment around. That's the art of training, is just figuring out what works for your dogs. Exactly. So that looked great. I can't even think of anything I would change there. I was just like going through to my head. Nope, I can't really think of anything. Yeah, just that pause, which is what you're doing that. And that pause is actually hard for us humans. We want to say that verbal at the same time we're doing the hand signal. And eventually they will most likely learn the verbal, but it's going to take a whole lot longer for them to make that connection because they will be blocking it out a lot of the time. So is Seneca going to give us hey, let's see what you got. So yeah, do your thing.
Down. Yes.
That's great. Excellent.
Out. Stand. And I need another treat. He got up, but I need another treat. So one more time.
Okay.
Fair sit. Down.
Nice.
Stand. Stand. Oh, come on out. Almost there, Pharaoh.
Be kind of excited. Excellent. Good job there, Seneca. You moved your hand just a little bit and that got Pharaoh up and moving. Fantastic. Excellent. The only thing I would change on that, and that would only be on the stand, is after you say stand, pause just a little, even though Pharaoh might not totally know the stand verbal yet. He may or may not. It looked like he may or may not. I'm not sure. But yeah, so give a little pause and then go ahead and help him out with that hand signal. And that way he's going to make more of a connection, a more efficient connection between that verbal and that and the old signal, which is the hand signal. But yeah, I mean, that looked fantastic. That's some good work there, Seneca. Good work. Let's see. Did I leave anyone out? Did we do Gloria? We did Gloria, right, Jesse? Yeah, I thought we did. Yeah. Okay, that's looking good, guys. Good work. Just say it, show it, mark it, pay it. That's a good thing. I'm actually I meant to say this earlier. I'm changing the curriculum just a little bit from the way it was, where I'm adding a little bit more leash work. And also, we're going to do some work on some jumping. I believe it was Jesse, you were the one that asked me. Yeah, you guys checked in on that. And I was thinking about that, and I'm going to go ahead, not this week, but on our last class, we're going to do a little bit more, do some jumping. We don't normally do that in this class, but me and another trainer have been talking it over, and her especially is spearheaded changing the curriculum. And so I am actually going to be sending out some separate additions to your homework after probably either later tonight or tomorrow, just working on some a little more leash work. And I will also put that in there, say it, show it, mark it, pay it, because that's not actually in your homework either on that. And when you're working on your sit downs and stands, mix it up. Really mix it up a lot. Do like sit, down, stand, down, sit. Dogs pick up patterns really well. And the more you really mix it up like that, the more they're going to pay attention, and the faster they're going to start discriminating those cues. So I'll put that in your additional homework too. Then I'm just going to email that. But still, check your homework on the website. But I'm just going to we're going to work on leave it now, and then after that we're going to do a little bit do a little extra work on leash work this week and next week. So I'm going to move on to leave it, and we have now moved to the step where we're going to try and put the food directly on the floor, but work at whatever level you're at. So we started with the closed hand, marking and rewarding disengagement, moved to the open hand, marking and rewarding no activity towards the hand, moving our hand down towards the floor, then laying our hand on the floor with the treat on it. And now today, we are actually going to try putting the treat directly on the floor. And if you're not to that point, no worries. You can make an attempt. But if you fail one or two times, I'd like for you to abort and not keep trying and having them fail, but then just go back to whatever step that you think that your dog can succeed at. So I'll do a little demo with Lolly. Let's see if she can come through on this. Good. So low value treat in your leave it hand, just as a reminder. Okay, so I'm warming up with the closed hand. Leave it. Good girl. So she didn't even touch my hand at all, which is great. Leave it. Girl. A couple times closed hand. I always like to warm them up. Leave it. Leave it. Good girl. Leave it. Whoops. Leave it. Good girl. I'm working my way down to the floor. Let's see if I can do it. She can do it. Leave it. Nice job. Leave it. Whoops. Leave it. I'll try one more time. I don't think she's gonna be able to do this. Leave it. Well, that was a good crawl, but that's not what I'm working on. Leave it. I just click her really quickly. We're not going to be able to get to food on the floor, but if indeed we could have, I was going to lay it directly on the floor. Leave it. Nice. Okay. Yay, good girl. Okay. Right there. Well, I did get there. Surprised me. So let's do a little leave it. Let's warm it up with the closed hand and see, how far you can get down to the floor. See if you can get to the point where you can actually lay the food on the floor. So we'll start with Pharaoh. So Pharaoh left it. So I would consider that Pharaoh left it a couple of times there. So go ahead and just do it. That first time when he pulled his nose away, I would be ready to mark that.
Okay. Leave it. Good boy.
Nice.
Yes.
Very good. See if you can do an open hand. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear leave it. My mind wandered for a second. Oh, it's muted. Okay, sorry.
So he's like, he seems like I say leave it, and then he just immediately looks to my hand with the high value treat, like he's.
Oh yeah, I remember you mentioned that before.
Is that okay? Is that okay to reward him, or should I hide it, or?
Yeah, I would always try to keep the reward hand with the high value treat out of sight if possible, either behind your back or in your treat pouch, and then reach for it and deliver it. Yeah, he knows where the goods are.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
I just wanted to try this one.
Leave it. Leave it. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice job, Pharaoh.
We should eat our mics.
That looked good. Let's see if we can go a little lower to the floor. Whoops. That might be a little too challenging for Pharaoh. He might need to go back to a little more work on the closed hand.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
fart. Don't
Okay.
fart many times.
Exactly. Good job.
Let's see. Maybe work on that closed hand to the point where before you start working on the open hand, work on the closed hand until he actually does not even go for your hand at all. So in other words, you hold your hand out and he's just like, I'm not moving towards it at all. And I think when he gets to that point, he's telling you, I'm ready to go to step 2, which is be your open hand. Because once we go to our open hand, we don't want him to even like make a motion at all towards it.
And as soon as we bring out a hand, either closed or open, that has a low value treat in it, like we say, leave it right away. We don't wait for him to come towards it or.
Yeah, at this point, what I do is I say leave it. The point we're at right now, I say leave it, and I give him a chance to sort of spin his wheels and go, oh, so this is the game that we're playing. But it's a good question because eventually we will want to start moving when we deliver the leave it cue so that it looks more like real life. Right now, we're saying it before we're presenting the treat.
Okay.
And then, and we'll go over this a little more next week too, but sending you off into the future to work on it without, me around, I will ask you to start say leave it before, then leave it at the same time you present it. And then you present it, or at the point you're at, you'll say it, leave it after. Because when you see the thing on the ground in the real life setting and scenario, the leave it's going to be interjected after the thing has already been noticed.
Yeah.
So we just try to simplify it and make it as easy as possible by starting by saying the leave it ahead of time and then sort of moving it slowly but surely to further along in the sequence. So right now, I think Pharaoh needs to have that leave it at the beginning to give him the idea that that's the game you're going to play. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So
Thank
yeah, I'd keep working on the closed hand. I think when Pharaoh does not go for your hand at all, and you get a good solid 5 times out of 5, then I go ahead and open your hand and start moving, working with that. And that, yeah, that looked really good right there, Seneca. You did it, and he didn't go for it. Okay, looking good. Okay, Ollie's up. Check the time really quick.
Okay. Come on, Ollie. She's so tired today. Let's go.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, get him up. Dance around a little.
All right, Ollie.
So let's warm him up with the closed hand a couple of times, and then proceed on.
Leave it.
I can't see Ollie though, unfortunately.
Sorry.
He's off camera range.
There we go.
There he is.
All right, Ollie. Leave it.
Nice, looking good. I'd see if you can lay that food on the floor.
Let's give
Maybe
it a shot.
maybe one more with it in your hand, and then we'll graduate up to that.
Ollie. Leave it.
Beautiful. Okay, let's try one with directly on the floor.
Ollie. Leave it.
Okay, only thing I would do different, I think he's ready for that, is I would put the treat further away from him.
Yeah.
And I would have my hand ready to cover it up if he goes for it, and then reset for another one.
Ollie.
And if he goes for it more than a couple of times, then just go back to in your hand on the floor.
Leave it.
Excellent. I couldn't fully see it, but I didn't see him moving towards it. I didn't see the treat, but it doesn't matter because I could see that he was staying stationary.
Yeah.
Okay, that's looking really good. So I would just keep working at that level right now.
Okay.
And what I would say your next steps, I take that back. What I would say your next steps would be, and start animating the food a little bit, where instead of just gently placing it on the floor, you can start dropping it from short little heights.
Make it a little more exciting.
Once the food starts to get animated and moving, it's more challenging.
Yeah.
So that will be you guys' next steps.
Okay.
Okay, let's see how little Gloria's doing with this.
Do it over here.
Gloria,
Hey, Atticus.
No.
Hey,
Atticus.
no.
Okay, go for it. Go for it, Atticus.
Gloria. Leave it. Yes.
Looking good.
Gloria.
You're out of screen notice.
Whoops.
Leave it.
No.
Fortunately, I can't see Gloria.
Notice. Come here. Gloria. Leave it. Yes.
Is the treat on the floor?
I tossed one there.
Oh, you tossed it?
Yeah.
Wow, she's already able to leave a tossed treat?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not 100% of the time, but like
Okay.
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. Okay. That's fantastic. The only thing I would say, if she's doing 3 out of 5, yeah, I would stay right at that level then. That's good. Wow, I'm impressed. Whoa, Gloria, go girl. And what you can also start doing is start saying the leave it a little later. So maybe say it at the same time that you toss the treat, as opposed to saying it before, and then slowly start migrating it to coming after you toss the treat. But you're gonna have to slowly work towards that. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Instead of saying leave it and then tossing it, you'll say leave it as you're tossing it, and then keep working on that till she gets it, and then you toss it, and then you'll say leave it.
Yeah.
So as I was talking to Stephanie and Greg about it, we're trying to make it look more like a real life scenario where the thing is already going to be there on the floor or on the ground. So good work, you guys. Okay, Rosie's up. So I warm her up a little with the closed hand.
Oh,
Whoa, she's going. She knows this. She's ready to roll.
leave it. Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Girl. Good girl.
Migration down. I always love that.
Okay, Rosie. Come on. Come on. Rosie. Leave it.
Nice. And that's what we want. When that closed hand, when you're doing the closed hand and they stop going for it at all, that's when you know that you can start opening up that hand and start moving your way down to the floor, slowly but surely.
Rosie. Leave it. Ooh.
Ah, nice.
Girl, yes.
Nice. So let's see if you can get that hand all the way down to the floor.
All right.
That might be jumping the gun a little bit, but
We'll give it a shot.
yeah, why
Keep a
not?
little slow on this one. Rosie, come on. Come on.
Just don't put it too close to her.
Rosie. Leave it. Good girl. Leave-
Nice.
Yes. Good
That's looking good. I think, yeah, you keep working on that. It's looking good. I think a little bit more work and you're going to be hand on the floor, and then a little bit more work, you're going to be putting that food directly on the floor. So good job.
Yay.
Okay.
Good job.
Okay, I want to work a little bit on, we did a little exercise, I believe it was not last week, but the week before, which would have been 3 weeks ago, I guess. So, well, anyway, we did something, we were doing some on-leash following where we were making some noises, and when our pups start to follow us, we were marking and rewarding that as they started coming towards us. So what we were doing is we're rewarding them wanting to be close to us and follow us. So you can keep working on that as well when you get the time to do that. But today I'm going to work on making it look a little bit more formally like leash walking practice. And what we're going to do is we're going to reward our puppies for being in what we call the reward zone. Now, the reward zone is going to be different for everyone when you're out walking your dogs. For me, I have a pretty big bubble that I don't mind, just so that, you know, they can be on the left or right, just so that they're like in this certain bubble for myself. So you guys need to decide, what is your bubble? What is your criteria? Where would you like your dog to walk with you? Do you want them to walk on your left side? Do you want them to walk on your right side? Be thinking about that. You don't have to hone it all down today, because the exercise we're going to do today, I am going to work on my left side. But when you decide, you know, a little more formally about where you want your dog to be, then you can just transfer that to whichever side you want. And so what we're going to work on today is building value on our dogs staying next to us in our bubble. We're going to pull it in pretty tight on this exercise, where they're actually going to be walking direct. We're going to be rewarding when they're right up next to my left side. And I'm going to be marking and rewarding Lolly as she sticks to me right there. So we're teaching our puppies that when they stay in the zone, good things happen. So I'm going to just do a little demo with her. Just looking at, see if there was another note here. Okay, so get our treats ready. This can be done on leash or off leash. It doesn't really matter. Again, just do it in a safe place if you're off leash, so that, you know, your puppy's can't get away. And what I'm going to do, something that works really good when I'm working on this kind of thing, is some string cheese, because you can just like hold it at your side and your dog can nibble on it. Another thing that works really good for this particular exercise and leash walking skills is freezing a can of baby food, and then you can hold it at your side and your dog can take licks off of it as you're walking. Another thing is REI sells tubes that you can fill with cream cheese or peanut butter or something, and then you can squeeze a little bit out and they can take a little lick. The reason I bring these things up is because it's just a little bit easier for the treat delivery as you're practicing leash walking skills, when you can deliver the treat quickly as you're moving along. So I'm just tearing off some bits of string cheese, and I'm going to get Lolly into a position. I'm going to pull her around. I'm going to pull her back around. And if she walks up next to me, I'm going to click and give her a little bite of string cheese. Right now, I'm actually just going to click her for being next to me. Now I'm going to start taking a few steps. I'm going to hold my hand at my pant seam. And when she goes right up next to me, I'm going to go ahead and give her a treat. Take another step. Wait for her to enter the reward zone. Mark and reward. Whoops. Got it? There you go. I'm going to pull her around just so, because I'm working in this small area, that she's back in the reward zone again. Got it? Take a few steps. Wait for her to catch up to me. Here she comes. Going to mark and reward that. Grab another piece of cheese. Boop, boop, boop. Nicely done. Wait for her to catch up. Nicely done. Good girl. And if she's in front of me, I'm going to pull her around, kind of do a little U-turn, get her into position, mark and reward. Step. Wait her out. Good girl. So I waited her out to come into that position. This is not to suggest that your dog has to do a military heel. I'm just doing this to give the idea of rewarding your dog in the reward zone. And the reward zone can change depending on what you want it to be. But for practice purposes, I'm doing it like this. So get some treats ready, put it at your pant seam, hold it there. First way, you can kind of lure your dog over to your side, and then just stand there first and mark and reward for him to be right there. And then start trying to take like a step, mark and reward, a step, mark and reward as they stick close to you. And you're just going to be marking it and then go ahead and deliver a treat as you go. It takes a little mechanics to kind of get going on this. And again, you can do this on leash or off leash. That's your prerogative. Next week, we'll do a little bit more formal work on leash as best we can in this Zoom room. So I'll let you guys kind of get situated. Atticus, do you want to do a little work with Pharaoh here? I'll do a little coaching.
You should do
Okay, here. Am I in you now?
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So kind of get Pharaoh over to your side and keep that treat down by your pant seam.
Yeah, okay.
Keep them on your right side, treats on the right.
Oh, on the right?
Yeah.
hold the leash with your left hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there we go. And maybe walk this way.
So you're rewarding as he comes up to your side, and there you go. Perfect. Excellent. That's looking really good.
You went behind
And
me.
just do it like a couple of steps at a time. You don't need to bite off too much. And then as you come around to the circle, just kind of lure him around. There he goes. But nice work there.
Not for you.
So the purpose of this again is that we're teaching them that staying close to this in our reward zone, whatever it may be, really pays off. So you can just go ahead and just keep a treat right, yeah, and looking good. That looks good. Good job. And I'm going to send, again, I'm going to send this information because it won't be in your regular homework. I'm going to send this just with your, by email, so you guys can reference it to work on it. So looking good there, Atticus. Good job, Pharaoh. Okay, Ollie's up. So get the treats kind of down at your leg where your pants seam, yeah, right at your pants seam. There you go. And then mark and reward, give him a treat.
So if she's just like fully just like touching my hand the whole time, am I doing that okay? Like, is that fine? Or do you want to like try to create more space?
At this point, I wouldn't worry about that. We
Okay.
are going to, next week, we're going to work on making it a little bit less, tunnel vision on the treats, where they're walking next to us and then we're delivering the treat to them and actually laying the treat down onto the ground. But right now we're just trying to get them, we're just trying to show them when they're just hanging out there right at your, in that reward zone, they're going to get treated. Yeah, and you can go ahead and click. I mean, you can pull your hand up a little. Maybe if he's just hanging on your it's like dangling from your hand.
Yeah.
If he's dangling from your hand, maybe give a little space and then reach back down again. There you go. And then just kind of lure him around in that 3/6 into that U-turn. Looking good. Keep marking and then treating. Marking and treating. Maybe pull it up and then let it back down. And be sure to mark along the way with your word or with your click or whichever you're using.
So funny.
She has a deep love of string cheese.
Yeah, that's the bomb. That's looking really good, Chris. It's Chris, right?
Yeah, no, that one's Chris. Sorry.
Okay.
With our camera, it's like you get the dog or you get our face. So
I know, and that's the way it has to be. So yeah, there you are. So yeah, you know, we only need one. So that's looking good, and that's exactly right. Just do that, and like I said, next week we're going to deliver the treat a little bit different. Right now, I just want your dog to get used to being over there, even if we're getting some tunnel vision and all he's doing is focusing on the treat, which does hamper the learning a little. He's getting the point that I'm right next to you and I'm getting rewarded. So just go ahead and work on that right now. And we'll make it look a little less of him dangling from your hand as we continue to work on it next week. But good job. So Gloria's up. So just put that treat right down at your pants seam and get her right on your side and mark and reward as you're going along. Go ahead and stop and wait her out. That was great, Jessie. Good job with that. You can always just kind of wait them out, let them catch up to you. If they're, here she comes. She's coming in for it. Fantastic. That looks good. Yeah. And then you just turn around. Nice U-turn there. Okay, good job there. Yeah, looking good. Okay, Katie and Rosie, see how that's going. Nice, and do a little U-turn there, pull her around, lure her around. Here she comes, wait for her to catch up to your side. Nice. Let's do a little U-turn. You can kind of wait. Sometimes if you want, you can kind of wait for them to catch up to you. If they're not moving, like earlier, Lolly was just staring. She kind of got lost somehow in some trance. Feel free to make a little kissy noise or a little cluck or something to kind of get them moving back next to you again. So excellent. It's looking good, guys. So yeah, again, the whole idea of this is just teaching them, and it really pays off to be close to us. As puppies, they're a lot more likely to stay close to us. That's changing very fast and will change exponentially faster as they get older and go into adolescence. So that's what we work on it now. And again, your reward zone can be whatever you'd like it to be when you're out and about. So be thinking about that. For next week, I'd like for you to kind of have more of an idea of what do you want from your dog? Where would you like your dog to be when you walk them? Do you want them on your left side? Do you want them on your right side? Do you want them, again, I don't recommend military style heeling. It's not really fun for the dog. They just marching next to you, right up next to your leg. We were doing, a little bit of that today, but that's just kind of trying to get the point across. So, so be thinking about that. Real quick, I just wanted to touch on, and I'm going to put some notes about this in your homework that I'm going to email you tomorrow or later tonight. We need to teach our puppies that it's okay not to greet every dog. And the reason we need to teach our puppies that is because they don't get to greet every dog. It's not safe for them to greet every dog. I don't know if you guys have one of those puppies that wants to go say hi to everyone. Yeah. Well, the problem with that is, first of all, it's not safe. And obviously, it's not safe for Rosie to go greet every dog. So what we need to do is teach them that good things happen even when they don't get to go say hi to another dog. So what we want to do is we want to mark and reward when they see another dog and are still relatively calm before they start going nuts trying to pull to get to the dog. So we want to mark and reward before that behavior starts. And we're just trying to show them that things are happening here that are great too. You don't have to greet that dog, because what starts to happen as a dog doesn't get to greet other dogs and they start to get frustrated that they don't get to greet other dogs, that frustration can actually start being associated with the other dog. And it can cause some problems. And what also starts happening is the frustration starts turning into over-arousal, and the over-arousal can start turning into some aggressive behaviors. So in other words, you can start with a dog that loves other dogs and wants to greet other dogs and still wind up with the dog that is going nuts and super reactive. The same as you can start with a dog who's uncomfortable with other dogs and winds up at the same point of being super overreactive when they see other dogs. So it can work. It can turn into the same, you can wind up at the same spot even if you have a dog that loves other dogs, as you can wind up at the same spot when you have a dog that's uncomfortable with other dogs. And it's not a good spot to be in, because leash reactivity only gets worse once it starts. So what we like to do is start working with teaching our dogs that they don't get to greet other dogs. Seeing other dogs is like a non-event. You're certainly never going to be able to teach your dog not to like other dogs if they like other dogs. So don't worry about that. What we want to do is teach our dogs that when another dog is over there, it's a non-event. I'm going to get a goodie here, so it's okay that I don't get to greet that dog. Because like I said, over time, that frustration at not being able to greet another dog can start turning into over-arousal, which can actually start leading to super high reactivity, which can start leading to some aggressive responses from your dog. Yes, go ahead.
Does the same, can you use the same training principle for greeting humans? Because she wants to greet every person we pass.
You certainly can. You certainly can. The same idea. What it means is, so I see this human, before Rosie starts to get all worked up to see the human, the secret to this is marking and rewarding Rosie before she's all pulling to get to that other person and is all worked up. We have to catch them just short of that. And what that means is we need to be keeping an eye on our environment. And when we see things start to pop up, being proactive about it. So, and you can't always be that way. I work a lot on reactivity with my dogs, but sometimes another dog will suddenly turn a corner and all bets are off. That is the fraction of a time. More often, I'm having the success because I'm being able to do it at enough of a distance where I'm actually catching my dogs manifesting calm behavior before the other dog gets close enough to set them into their reactivity. And for my dogs, I'm not completely sure what caused my reactivity in my dogs. I believe my Chihuahua was uncomfortable with other dogs. My cattle dog, I have no idea what caused hers. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. We want to just still work on it. And that it is teaching our dogs, rewarding our dogs on calm behavior before they start to get worked up when they see the person, when they see the other dog. So basically have your treats on you at the ready, be paying attention to your environment. If you see a dog coming down the street and your dog notices that dog, anytime you notice something, most likely your dog has already noticed it. I would say that's a pretty good bet. So when you see that dog coming down the street, your dog has probably already noticed it. Mark it and get that reward in there. I would suggest using a calm verbal marker and not a clicker to try to keep arousal level as low as possible. Sometimes a clicker can get dogs more worked up. Depends on your dog. So we are trying to teach our puppies that seeing another dog, or in Rosie's case, or another human, it's like a non-event. Like I said, you're not going to teach Rosie not to like people, and you're not going to teach Ollie to not like other dogs. He's going to like other dogs, but we just want to teach him that when he sees another dog, hey, no big deal. I'm going to get treats over here. Good things happen here. All the action is not with the other dog. There's action that works for me here as well, because you're not going to be able to let your dog greet other dogs on a regular basis. And as a matter of fact, as a plucky puppy, and you'll find this with a lot of trainers, I actually recommend that most of your greetings happen off leash, meaning the being tethered to a leash can actually interrupt the greeting chain when dogs meet. That's why you see a lot when dogs greet on leash, problems arise. Because what happens is, first of all, there's going to be tension in the leash because your dog is pulling to get to the dogs. Right off the bat, that is adding another ingredient to the scenario that can cause problems. They've got tension in their neck, causes them to tense up more. So immediately when they hit the other dog, they've already experiencing tension. And also when they're on a leash, the normal greeting chain of dogs is they come together, they usually greet each other face to face and immediately start circling around, sniffing each other's butts. They do that briefly and then they usually stop and then they either play or they go about their business. When they're on leashes, the tendency is they get stuck in a face-to-face greeting. And if you notice when your dog is greeting another dog and they get stuck in a face-to-face, interrupt that, because that is when problems start to erupt. And that's usually when you're going to see the tension start to rise, because that's unnatural. That is not how dogs actually like to greet each other. So when they're greeting each other off leash, they're more free to do what they normally do. Come together, do brief little face-to-face, and then start the circle. You've all seen it, the circle, the beautiful circle, the body language of the dog when they're saying hi to someone. So I'm going to send home an article that explains what I just said a little bit more in depth to help you understand that. So I recommend that you keep your on-leash greetings to dogs that you know are safe. Dogs you know from the neighborhood that you know that it'll be okay for him to meet. And as far as strange dogs, I actually recommend that you don't do too much on-leash greetings, but in those scenarios. And instead teach your dog that it's really a non-event when they see another dog. But that being said, you also have to give your dog access to other dogs as well. Not in an on-leash greeting situation, but just make sure they're getting plenty of opportunities to interact with their own kind, and play and spend time with. Okay. So continue to work on your recall. We're not going to do any formal work on that. It looks like we're right at time. Where you say your dog's name, wait for them to orient towards you, add the recall cue, mark as they're moving towards you, do a little collar grab when they get there, and then deliver your treat. So keep working on that. Next week, if we have time, we'll do a little recall with distractions. But I think that's it for today. Again, I'm going to be sending you a little extra homework to work on tonight or tomorrow. But you guys are doing fantastic. I'm so happy with the progress that I'm seeing. So, all right, you guys take care, and I will see you next week.
Thanks, Tammy. That information about not getting to greet all the dogs was so helpful.
Oh, I'm so glad.
He is like the super social, needs to say hi to everybody dog. And we really needed that. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad. And I'm going to, you'll get it in writing so you can reference it. I'll send it to you. But yeah, that is a problem. People don't think that dogs that are extra friendly, that there's ever going to be any problems with leash reactivity, but it can happen just the same as with dogs that are uncomfortable with other dogs as well. The way that
Really,
starts to play out.
really good to know.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
I
I'm
look
so
forward to
glad.
seeing what you send. Thanks, Tammy.
There, take care, you guys. Bye-bye. Bye.